Okay, here we are with our last installment of bones. We're talking bone markings today. Not too many slides, lots to study though. So, gear up and get ready for this. Bone markings are surface features that characterize bones of the body. These can be sites of articulation. Remember, articulation is where two bones come together. They could be passages for blood vessels or for nerves, and they can be attachment sites of tendons and ligaments. We're going to go through and just talk about these a little bit and then try to point them out on some bones. This would be an amazing thing to start studying on your disarticulated bones. Once you know, once you've been able to classify those bones as long bones, short bones, flat bones, or irregular bones, once you are feeling pretty comfortable with the names of all the bones, count them all up, see how many you have, and then really start to look at the different bone markings and identify those. Please, please, please do not write on your bones. Masking tape, painter's tape is the best way to do it. Okay, so some articulating surfaces. So these will be surfaces that are going to connect from one bone to another. So you have different types. You have a condyle. These are large, smooth, rounded structures. A facet is a small, flat, shallow surface. A head is prominent. This is rounded at the epiphysis. And then a trochlea is smooth, grooved, pulley-like process. The next category are depressions. Depressions kind of go into the bone. So you have the alveolus, or the plural of that is alveoli. This would be a deep pit or a socket in the maxilla or in the mandible. So in your face here. Fossa, or the plural are fossae. These are flattened or shallow depressions. And then a sulcus is a narrow groove. Some projections for tendons and ligaments. So remember that tendons are going to connect muscle to bone. Ligaments are going to connect bone to bone. So we have things like a crest, narrow prominent ridge-like projection. Actually looks kind of like the crest of a mountain. An epicondyle. This is a projection adjacent to a condyle. A line, a process, a ramus or rami. These are angular extensions of the bone relative to the rest of the structure. A spine is a pointed, slender process. A trochanter is a massive, rough projection found only on the femur. A tubercle are small, round projections. And a tuberosity is a large, rough projection, right? So these are projections. They stick out of the bone as opposed to depressions that come in. And then you also have openings and spaces. So we have canals. This would be a literal passageway through the bone. A fissure is a narrow slit-like opening through the bone. A foramen is a rounded passageway through the bone. A meatus is a passageway through the bone. And a sinus is a cavity or hollow space in the bone. So let's go take a look at some bones, see what we see here. And you can see that these are color-coded. These articular projections, so a facet. This is a crest, it's iliac crest here. This fossa is that kind of gentle depression. A spine, kind of narrow structure, and a line. So these are very similar to each other. This foramen is kind of that deep, empty space. Our ramus is kind of this projection, almost like a rock arch. I don't know if that makes any sense. A head on the epiphysis. This is the trochanter of the femur. An epicondyle and a condyle. In the skull, we have lots of openings. So we have a fissure here, this another ramus right here, coming down on your mandible is a ramus, similar to this ramus here. You see a process that sticks out kind of on the lateral portion of your head. For another foramen, kind of around the eye socket. The sinus, again, the sinus is a depression or a cavity. This meatus right back here, this allows for where our ear is, and then you have a canal back here for blood vessels and nerves to get in and out of the head. Here's another long bone, the humerus and upper arm. You have a tubercle and a sulcus. You have a head to your humerus, the tuberosity, fossa, and epicondyle, and the trochlea down here. So those are some bone markings. This is an example of a few. Get into your bones, and once you've been able to classify them, once you've been able to learn the names of the major bones and then the lesser bones, then go and start working on your bone markings, and that'll be great. So hopefully that was helpful.